Mohamed Light is the greatest player in Clash Royale. In the worst meta of the year, he handcrafted his very own minor poison control deck and piloted it to yet another number 1 ranked finish. Today, I invite you to join me as I bring you through his entire journey to the very top of ladder in the final hours of season end. Alright, we got Mohamed Light versus Pedro. Mo on the bottom, Pedro on top. This is going to be a certified classic matchup between two of the greatest players of all time in this game. What's very interesting is that it looks like both players are playing Mohamed Light's newly created deck. We are in the beatdown meta, and so this minor poison deck was created by Mohamed Light to counter all those beatdown cards. As you can see, we have a lot of anti-beatdown in here with the Mighty Miner, with the Ice Wiz, the Barb Barrel instead of the Log, and the Goblin Hut as well. So both players very talented, and what's interesting about this game is that Mohamed Light is currently number 1 in the world, and he is still playing from the number 1 in the world spot to secure the number 1 finish. We are in the final hours of season end top ladder, so everything is on the line, and if Mohamed wins this, it should just about secure his number 1 spot. On the other hand, if Pedro wins this, he can possibly create an upset and maybe get that number 1 to his name instead. We see a nice Evo Breaker pressure by Mohamed and a really good defense by Pedro. Ice Wiz to spawn and then Barb Barrel later. You'll see the Goblin Hut coming down. Evo Wall Breakers and the Evo Scalies are both the Evos of choice in these decks. And I think what's going to be important in this match, I'm not really sure how these mirror matches will work because, you know, again, this deck was created for anti-beatdown, but I think in terms of this matchup, what I can see is that the Evo Wall Breakers and the Evo Scalies will be big X factors in determining who's going to get out on top in these interactions. You can see Pedro catches Mohamed's Miner with those Evo Scalies, and Mo hasn't really had a single good opportunity. And we see a really nice Miner coming down by Pedro. Evo Scalies catch that and stay alive through that poison. Absolutely crazy. Mo has not had a single good opportunity to get on top of the tower yet. Barely any damage coming in. In the meantime, Pedro getting his Miners on tower as well as the poison right there. It's been over 2.5 minutes almost in this game, and Mo has not played a single poison yet, so very interesting here. We also see both Mighty Miners coming down in opposite lanes. Very interestingly enough, now that Mighty Miner doesn't really mean anything to cycle in the back. You know, traditionally you would get a Mighty Miner down in triple or double elixir, get that in the back and get your 3-card cycle ramped up to start getting momentum in the match. No longer the case. 3-card cycle has been removed from champions, and so now it's just the same as playing a Knight or a Valk in the back. Once again, Mo does get on top of the tower there, but barely any hits coming down. Does catch Pedro's Miner with his own Mighty Miner, and you can see these Goblin Huts as well. Evo Breakers for Pedro. The placement of these Goblin Huts, guys, is the anti-poison placement. Essentially, the purpose is to avoid hitting the weak side tower and the Goblin Hut with a poison. Same counter by Pedro, gets that Ice Wiz Barb Barrel down. Mo has his Mighty Miner taken out by Pedro's, and a pretty even game. Evo Scalies do come down. Will Mo follow up with a Miner? No, he's forced to defend the Wall Breaker pressure by Pedro instead, and now he goes with another Miner Wall Breakers. Finally does get that Miner on top of the tower, as does Pedro though, so Mohamed does catch some of Pedro's Miners, not every single one though. Mighty Miner still going strong in the left. Poison does come down for Mohamed, ability comes down, plus the Miner, really smart play by Mo there, going with the Mighty Miner ability to tank for that Miner, and now the tide is suddenly shifting. That heavy momentum play gets a lot of damage. You can see Pedro's tower just bleeding out. Mo's tower, or Mo's Miner rather, going to town on that, and that's going to finally give Mohamed the lead with 1 minute left in this game. Poison does come down for Pedro, and this is really anyone's game between two of, again, the best Miner poison players in the world. We see a poison pre-cycled. Mighty Miner comes down to catch a Miner, which does not come down. Again, Mo gets that Mighty Miner ability swap, catches the tower's targeting and tanks for that Miner, as Mo goes for a Mighty ability plus Barb Barrel on the Evo Breakers. Absolutely insane play that I think was so risky, because if he did not get that off, he would have lost the game right then and there to those Evo Breakers. But very ballsy play, paying off for Mohamed as he does defend, and that should pretty much be game. Catches this Miner by Pedro, and Mohamed is suddenly screaming into the lead after being behind the entire game. Pedro was literally on top for 4 minutes straight, but Mohamed suddenly gets that crazy momentum shift with a Mighty Miner ability tanking for that Miner, and then that explosive play, no pun intended, to catch those Evo wall breakers. The end of the game, 60 HP differential, and Mohamed, light work on the bottom, will come out on top against Pedro. Absolutely insane matchup. 59 HP separating these two opponents, and that is going to be Mohamed's game for #1 in the world. If we take a look right here, that's going to put him on the leaderboard, #1 in the entire world with just a few minutes left in the season end. So I thought that was it. I thought Mohamed Light won against Pedro. He's in the #1 spot. He's going to get the #1 finish. But no, Asaf, the player in #2 on the rankings in the leaderboard, was still queuing and still playing games, which means if he wins those games, he can overtake Mohamed and get that #1 finish for himself. So Mohamed Light goes right into another match, defending his title, trying to secure the #1 finish in season end. But it looks like he has switched his deck up a bit. He has added the Goblins and the Skelly, so this does not look that familiar compared to what we just saw in the mirror match. Meanwhile, Sandbox, his opponent on the top, looks like he is playing what's pretty familiar, playing what looks to be Mohamed Light's very own creation, the Miner Wall Breakers anti-beatdown, with the Mighty Miner, with the Ice Wiz, with the Goblin Hut Evo Breakers, and Mo gets a Curse Zap down on those Skellies, getting a few sneaky Goblin stabs in there. Did not think I would see the Goblin Curse ever since they nerfed it and removed the damage amplification, but no, Mohamed Light is bringing the curse back into fashion, it looks like. And Evo Wallbreakers for Sandbox, Mohamed Light does not have a response, bang bang, and that is Mo's tower down to 2788. Sandbox, meanwhile, sitting very healthy at 3,500 on the top. Mohamed Light going into a pretty big deficit to start this game out, and it looks like Mohamed Light was potentially trying to snipe Asaf, who was playing Goblin Drill, by playing the Skelly King with the Goblins, with the Curse Zap, but does not get what he was intending on matching up against, instead up against Sandbox, who's playing his own creation. Definitely not what he was looking for, and this is definitely going to be an uphill battle for Mohamed, as Sandbox is a very talented player in CRL World Finals this year as well. And looks like he also did make some techs in his own deck, did Sandbox, with the Rage and potentially something else, but should be the Poison as the last card here. So Mo does pop that Skelly King ability, which is going to get a decent amount of value because Mo has quite a lot of Swarm in his deck with the Hut, with the Wallbreakers, with the Goblins. At the same time though, Sandbox has a lot of responses, and the biggest issue I can see here is Mo has the Curse Evo Zap combination, but Sandbox has the Rage Poison, and so Minor Poison Rage should just out-damage the Minor Curse Zap basically every single time, right? I mean, I don't really see how you can out-damage a big spell without a big spell yourself. Plus the fact that Sandbox has a Mighty Miner means he just has a great response to the Skelly King every single time. Mighty Miner does beat Skelly King in a 1v1, and also the ability does act as a way to take care of the Skelly King ability for one less elixir. Sandbox with a nice defense there, does not fall for that minor curse shenanigan by Mohamed, gets a nice high Ice Wiz, and Sandbox just accumulating value on the board. New Skelly King in for Mohamed, but new Mighty Miner at the bridge for Mohamed, or for Sandbox to counter that Skelly King. But we see a Zap, a Mighty ability does come down, and right now, this still looks pretty tough. I mean, I don't really see how Mohamed's going to make some kind of comeback here, because Skelly King at the bridge, but Sandbox just has a Mighty Miner for it every single time, so I'm not sure how he's going to break through. Mighty Miner does come down right there, Skelly King ability does meet that, but again, Mighty Miner just kind of sitting there, holding the Skelly King at bay, at the bridge, doesn't even get to get close to the tower, and Mo just kind of consistently down about 500 every single time. Minor Wallbreakers do come down, Goblin Hut is met, and the Curse does come down as well, but that's equivalent to like cycling a Zap. You can see no damage application doesn't really do much for that, but the Evo Breakers do come down behind the Skelly King. Sandbox forced to go for the Rage. Mo, wait, making something happen, hold up. Skelly King ability does come down, takes out that Ice Wiz, Goblin Curse comes down, Mighty Miner for Sandbox, Evo Zap resets the Mighty, and what in the world is happening? Mohamed Light gets a huge connection, Wallbreakers, Goblins dumped at the bridge, and I don't even know what we just saw, but Mohamed Light takes the victory over Sandbox. We take a look at the leaderboard, and Mohamed Light is in #1. Asaf at #2, who did win his game, so if Mo didn't beat Sandbox, Asaf would have won this season. Pedro in #6, Mohamed also in #9, also in #16 on Flashlight, also in #19 on Lightbulb. 4 accounts top 20, and the #1 finish for yet another season. Absolutely phenomenal performance. We got Mohamed Light versus SK Morton, number 1 versus number 2, you could say. And Morton definitely giving hints of beatdown with the Chef Tower troop and a level 16 Goblin Machine lumbering down. Mohamed Light in the meantime playing his anti-beatdown minor control deck with the Skellies to predict the Zappies in the first seconds of this game, already off to a great start. Mighty Miner going to work on that machine, but the Zappies will do a great job at shutting it down. Ability plus Barb Barrel will come down for that entire right side, and Mohamed Light does a pretty good job controlling that machine. No rockets on his tower, just one Zappy stun in there. Morton with a Valk in the back. Mo goes Miner opposite. Looks like Morton is playing his own creation of Golem beatdown. Last 2 cards should be Golem and the Vine spell. And again, Mohamed playing his very own anti-beatdown Miner control deck with the Evo Breakers, with the Mighty Miner, Ice Wiz, and the Poison as his last card over there. So it's going to be pretty interesting because there's been a lot of talk about this deck by Mohamed. You know, it's a beatdown meta. It's the worst beatdown meta we've had in a while. We should see how he's able to execute this Miner control deck, which, you know, again, there's been a lot of talk. I'd like to see how it's actually performing in action. Evo Skellies on the left, and now Morton has a big choice to make to defend either the Mighty Miner or the Evo Skellies. Does choose both and kind of fails at both. Mighty Miner takes the entire tower on the right, and we do get an ability which will cause that Mighty Miner to essentially take the entire tower in the left as well. So it looks like Mohamed Light making perfect use of single elixir. Morton calls a good game early. The game hasn't even started and it's already over. Morton hasn't had a single chance to go for a golem. There it is, first golem of the game, over 2 minutes into the match, as Mo has already kind of taken control and gets a Muddy in the back, and those spears are getting on top of the tower. We're going to have to see how Morton's going to break through Mohamed's crazy defense, because this looks really tough to break through, honestly. I hate beatdown. I think this beatdown meta is really dumb, but it's still going to be really tough to break through Mighty Miner, Ice Wizard, Poison on defense as well. Mighty ability does come down, coupled with that Poison. Evo Breakers on defense, beautifully used to get that explosion, and will do a lot of work at essentially nuking that entire push, basically taking care of that entire push by themselves. We got the Evo Breakers, we got the Poison, we got the Mighty Miner ability, 3 different forms of splash, beautiful control, and Mohamed Light just destroyed Morton. 1 golem push was able to be made in the entire game, and it wasn't even close. It was over before it even started. Beautiful execution of single elixir by Mo. Alright, we have Mohamed Light versus Ian77 at the same exact medals on both players' sides. Absolutely crazy stuff. And this is going to be a good one because both of these are some of the greatest players in the world right now. Ian winning the first golden ticket of the year, Mohamed Light winning CRL World Finals last year and also winning another golden ticket this year. They will be meeting in CRL in Atlanta this year, and right now they are meeting on ladder, as it looks like we are going to be having ourselves a mirror match. Both players playing the anti-beatdown minor control deck that Mohamed Light created, and this is going to be an interesting mirror match because I'm not really sure how it's going to work. I mean, this is definitely oriented to counter beatdown with the Barb Barrel, with the Mighty Miner, and it's not really optimized for, you know, cycle mirror matchups. So I'm going to see exactly how this works, but this is going to be very interesting because I feel like this is not something you would ever see except at the very top level of competitive Clash Royale. You know, if you're playing yourself on 2,000, even 3,000 medals on top ladder or normal ladder, you would not see this kind of mirror match because this is the kind of deck that only the best players in the world, like Mohamed Light, like Ian, like maybe Riley and Pedro, would be playing. You would not see this happen anywhere other than top ladder. So very interestingly enough, we are going to have the privilege of watching this mirror match. Mo goes for prediction Mighty Miner on Ian's Miner, does not get that catch off, and Ian does have a pretty decent lead right now. Very interestingly enough, it's been 2 minutes into this game, and Ian has not played a Poison yet. Mohamed Light has played his Poison, however, and Ian does catch that Miner. So I think in this mirror matchup, of course, catching Miner will be very important to prevent tower damage because it's literally just the difference between if you lose 200 to 300 damage every single time versus 0. Both players getting their Goblin Huts down, Ian with a low Goblin Hut, Mohamed Light with the anti-poison placement on the right side, and more pressure here. Both Evos available, Evo Skellies in that push, as well as the Evo Breakers. Ian without any response, Evo Breakers with a huge connection in the left, and Ian just left with nothing, just sitting there. It looks like the Evo Breakers, Mohamed Light scheduled and orchestrated a great push where Ian did not have a Goblin Hut in cycle. nor did he have the sufficient elixir to take care of those Evo breakers in a timely fashion. And so both going in will just result in a 1000 damage lead for Mohamed. So just like that, Ian had a pretty good lead, but Mohamed Light with the macro plays, scheduling his pushes, orchestrating exactly what needed to do, and does get a huge punish. Does scream into the lead off of that one. Minor Poison comes down, predicting those Evo Skellies, and that's going to be a lot of damage. In the meantime, Ian left struggling to defend, a lot of troops coming down for Mohamed, a ton of spears from that Goblin Hut, as well as these Evo Skellies, and Ian just left kind of sitting there, cannot really do anything. Barbarrel does come down, but the Evo Skellies break through the poison as well, and Mohamed Light gets domination over Ian in a mirror matchup. We got a match, Mohamed Light versus Clown. Clown, you guys might not know him, but he's actually a very talented player, is usually pretty active in CRL, and gets some pretty good finishes, as you can see on his profile earlier. His best finish is number 6 on ladder, so definitely a very good player. Looks like he is going to be playing Mortar Bait, not really an archetype I've seen that much this season. It's been very beatdown centric. Mohamed Light playing his own creation, the Minor Control deck, and so this is going to be a good matchup. As Clown should have the Evo Skelly Barrel in this deck too. Yes, he will. There it is. Mo has a nice Goblin Hut to match that, and so it's just going to be kind of a chip damage game between both sides, as Clown is going to try and get his Evo Mortar and or Scaly Barrels to Mohamed's towers. In the meantime, Mohamed's going to try and schedule some nice pushes to get minor poison damage on Clown's towers, and it'll be a pretty interesting match to see who can really get on top and win the chip damage battle. Clown does have the Berserker, which is a very underrated card, really good, and really useful against Minor, especially because it can catch it, it's one less elixir, it has such a fast hit speed, it's just ridiculous. Mortar comes down by Clown, opposite lane pressure with the breakers by Mohamed, and that will be a connection of 1 with that Cannoneer hit speed nerf being pretty evident there. And Mo just gets a nice Goblin Hut to tank. As you can see, the Ice Wiz just putting in a lot of work. Ice Wiz, such an underrated card, I'm not going to lie. I can kind of see why they're nerfing it. All these top decks seem to be running an Ice Wizard. It can't really be a coincidence. It's just so good on defense. Did a great job against that Mortar for Mohamed as well. And so right now, Mo just a pretty comfortable lead right there, getting a few wall breaker connections. Evo breakers do come down, which should force an Evo Mortar by Clown. Yes, they do. And that Evo Mortar is essentially nuked. I mean, that's a really sad way to go if you're Clown, to lose your Evo Mortar like that. Evo Skelly Barrel by Clown coming in as well. Dual lane pressure. We have the Cart Berserker on the right. Evo Skelly Barrel, huge pop on the left, but just one Bar Barrel to clean everything up. Breakers, really good on defense. As you can see, they can just kind of distract and get used to kite stuff, so they're not only an offensive tool, they're definitely great on defense too, especially because if you cycle them on defense in a sequence, you just get back to the Evo that much quicker, so it's definitely useful to go for. Poison, predicting almost that Skelly Barrel by Mo, really crazy play there. As you can see, perfect defense there, and that was quite a crazy play because now it feels like all the momentum is on Mohamed's side. Clown just struggling to find a way to break through. Berserker coming down on the left cannot be ignored, by the way. That will be like 500 damage by itself. Berserker, very underrated card, like I was saying. But Breakers just make quick work of that Mortar. Defensive poison by Mo, coupled with the Ice Wiz, trying to get on top of that Cannon Cart, and it will. Although an Evo Mortar by Clown now, and now the momentum's kind of shifting in Clown's favor, as it looks like Mohamed Light is kind of low on elixir and struggling to defend all of this. He should need to go for a poison on this Evo Mortar, or maybe get an Evo Breaker connection on. I think he has Evo Breakers back in cycle, but will just go for the poison, and does get those Evo Breakers opposite lane instead. Clown will get a nice defense though, and Mo did a great job, not going to lie, controlling that push, because that was going to be pretty tough to defend, and if that got on tower, it would have been wraps. Evo Skellies, though, going to be really problematic for Clown, actually. Should force an Ice Wiz spawn on top of them, because otherwise that Cannoneer will not do justice against those Evo Skellies. That is a really easy way to lose your tower in one push. Again, Mo getting really good poison value every single time. I guess that's how he likes to play this deck. He likes to get that poison value essentially every time, using it on not only the Mortar but also the Cannon Cart, or just multiple different things at the same time. Although Clown does get that Fireball off, first Fireball of the game I believe, and Mo with the pressure opposite, Berserker does get on top of the Minor. Perfect defense by Clown, and it looks like Clown is kind of slowly getting some kind of momentum on the board, maybe trying to make a comeback happen. Goblin Hut forced out on that Skelly Barrel as Clown is just Fireball cycling, And that Evo Mortar is going to be pretty problematic, as you can see the Berserker putting in work in the left. Evo Mortar not really going to want to use a poison for Mohammed on that because it's very late in the match at this point. Maybe he will though. Evo Skellies do come down on, or Evo Wallbreakers rather, on the left as well to pressure. Clown with this crazy pressure, Evo Skelly Barrel, and suddenly everything in the left is just overloading. Lots of stuff. Insane. Spawn Ice Wiz. And it looks like even though Clown had some crazy pressure, Mohammed Light was able to survive and hold on. Although it got really close in the end, Clown did a great job making a comeback happen, but Mohammed Light just said, no, you're not going to make a comeback. Really good use of poison on defense and really well defended overall.